So no pills or anything, just like talking about school and shit. I was a shithead. Like I was a little fuck stick when I was a kid. Still kind of a fuck stick, but you know, responsible for my own shit these days. I got warm. Aw, dude. You know what, Spaz? Reese earlier, Reese, who has made a lot of my emotes for me, she said she's had something in the works. I find talking hard too. That's why I prefer when my counselor asks me questions. It's a lot easier for me to just answer questions than it is to just have open speaking. Like, speak your mind, how do you feel? No, I can't have that. I need like questions like, why do you default to anger? Because it's familiar. Wow, that's boring. And you know, the worst thing in the world to a teenage girl is to be boring. God forbid. It kind of changed the way I think though. Like when I get angry or something, I try to funnel that into something productive like art or running or cleaning something, as opposed to just being angry, because it's boring. I didn't want to be boring. Still don't want to be boring. Cheers, everybody. Yeah, Brad, same. My therapist would just point out shit I would say out loud and make me think about it. Stuff that I would have said anyways, but like I talk very fast and I say a million things a minute, so I don't necessarily sit and ponder everything I say out loud. But my therapist would be like, think about what you just said out loud. And I'd be like, oh shit, okay. Oh dude, cake. I spent almost my entire day off yesterday drawing, other than when I was doing D&D. In which case I ended up drawing anyways because I drew one of my friend's pets. And my neck hurts so bad. Therapists are incredible. I highly suggest everyone needs a therapist before anything's going wrong in your life. You should seek therapy before anything goes wrong so you can find out how to maintain that peace. If you only go to therapy when something's wrong, you don't know how to maintain a peaceful life. Okay, so far what I've done is Substrate nice and packed so she can dig a little if she wants to. And then I put a big old fat piece of cork bark in there. So this is the front, this is where the door is. And because the back is opaque, I put it up against the glass. So that's where she's gonna hide. So I can see her and still feed her and make sure she's okay. Because I need to keep eyes on her. She's still not a hundo on the healthy. Therapy is the best thing in the world, I think. There is something to be said about someone non-biased just listening to you. I have music in the background of mine. I don't have leaf litter, I have moss. What I've been using, because the place that I get all my shit from, like the only place around here that has tarantula stuff, they recalled all their leaf litter. Like they took it all off the shelves for some reason. So I got this moss. So this is what I've been putting in the ground just to like give them something else to build with and hold moisture and stuff. Yeah, this is all I have right now because the leaf litter is just gone. But they seem to like it, and it does help, especially with these Avix and shit that need a little bit more moisture. What, whoa? What? What, whoa? Have you never seen these moss things? Yeah, I mean, it's just this one brand. I don't even remember the brand because I'd never bought it before. And I went to go buy it and they had pulled all of it off the shelves. So I don't know if it had bugs. I mean, it might have just been my store. Like, you know, they might have gotten mites or whatever, beetles or something. I don't know. So I got moss instead because I was like, I'm not risking that shit. Not on my precious boobies. How do you go about seeing a therapist? So basically what I usually do is ask my friends who are local first, do you see a therapist? Do you suggest anyone I should talk to? And if I don't know anybody, then I shop for therapists. Like you kind of have to go You have to call a therapist and be like, hey, I'm kind of looking for a therapist. Would it be okay if I came in and talked to you and see if you're a good fit? And a good therapist will be absolutely open to that because that means you're a mature person and you're thinking, you know? Do spiders like moss? Like is a strong word. The moss is mostly for moisture retention. Because you saw what my little fuckhead over here did to her water bowl. Most tarantulas are gonna do that in their enclosure in one way or another. They're gonna dump their goddamn water bowl. So if you have some sort of moss or something in the back, I put it in the back, you can't really see it. Then you can spritz it with a spray gun. Like I have my little spritz, my little mister. Not a spray gun, goddamn Katie. I have my little, God, your farts are terrible. Everyone's farting, it's so bad. I have a little mister and then I can literally just open it and mist that moss. It moisturizes the moss and keeps humidity up, but it also, the tarantula can go over and like eat the little droplets off of it. Because that's what they do in nature, you know, they don't have a water bowl. Yep. Avicularia is one of the species that needs a little bit more humidity, a little bit more moisture than a normal tarantula. Most arboreal tarantulas are a little bit more moisture dependent, but not extremely. Like you're not gonna be, you don't want them swimming. King beans, therapies. I need to find a new therapist. I haven't found one since I moved here, but therapy is incredible. I've been going to therapy on and off my whole life. It's really scary the first time you go, and then all of a sudden you realize that every time you leave, you can breathe, and it's pretty enlightening. By the way, I'm sorry your sister died. I have a dead sister too. Moms know everything, dude. Or at least they think they do. Oh, Miss Mary, you feeling shitty? Oh, headaches. No. I hope you feel better, honey. I'm sorry. Ooh, I'm excited. That's going to be a fun thing for me to look at after stream. They are expensive to go, but it's kind of like eating healthy, if you think about it that way, Via Gamer Girl. Organic produce and eating vegetables and fruits and like natural foods is a little bit more pricey than eating Kraft macaroni and cheese and Oscar's hot dogs. But if you treat your body like shit, you're gonna end up spending that money in the hospital anyways. You know what I mean? Because your health is gonna be really bad. And so I kind of think of it that way. If you wait for your brain to go downhill, you're gonna end up spending more in the long term because you're gonna end up like me and you're gonna be hospitalized. And let me tell you, you don't want that. Aw, Blue Cat, thank you for coming forth and saying that. As a non-mom, I cannot say that. I want to glue this on the back because I don't want it to fall on her. Stick. Well, it depends on how therapy went for you. I usually feel good because my predominant issue, I guess, quote unquote, is I hold everything inside. I need someone to drag my feelings out of me. Otherwise, I just sit there clammed up and then I go crazy. I start to, you know, I'm not going to go into details. I go crazy. We'll just say that. I go crazy if I'm left to my own devices with my own brain. So for me, it's like someone giving me a colostomy of the head. Someone forces me to spit everything out of my mouth that I've been thinking all week. And sometimes, that's why I journal. Sometimes just getting it out of your head on paper or out loud removes it from your brain so you're not sitting there OCD obsessing, which is exactly what I do 90% of my life. OCD obsess about things. I mean, fuck me. Please just go in there, you goddamn hot glue piece of shit balls. Sorry. Breath of the waifu? Oh, thank God. Good. It's better for his blood pressure. fuck, fiction. That sounds like me when I was in college. That sucks. I'm 32. I just paid off my last credit card that I used to load books on from college. So you ain't alone, bro. I am there with you in those pains. Yep, a lot. I actually went, Gluttony, that's exactly how I got into therapy. I was a bad test taker, and I was in one math, I can't remember, I think it was Algebra 2. I don't remember, it was some fucking class. It was like one of the earlier math classes you take in college, but it wasn't basic like math. I did calculus in high school, so I got to go up higher in the math, whatever. I would have panic attacks and like what I called whiting out because my head would go blank. I was still awake and I was totally with it, but I would know all the material and just go 100% blank the second I got into the test. And my teacher, bless her goddamn soul, I can't even remember her name, but she probably saved me. She's the one who got me to go to therapy for the first time. She saw me breaking down during a test and asked me to stay after school and just talk to me a while. And she was like, I really think you have ADHD. I think you should go talk to the school counselor. Just go talk. There's no harm in talking. They're not going to do anything. Went and talked to the school counselor. She literally talked to me for like 3 minutes and she's like, honey, you need to go see a real therapist. She made me an appointment with a therapist outside of the college that was covered by the college still. And he is the one who diagnosed me with ADHD for the first time and then put me on ADHD meds. All because I had panic attacks during a math test. But I mean, if she hadn't have been like a teacher that actually paid attention, like you guys know how many teachers out there, like I'm sure you've had professors that could care less whether or not you breathed or drowned during a test. She was not one of those. She cared so deeply. And every single time I saw her on campus, she would stop and say, Katie, how are you? How are you doing? Are you still taking math? Are you doing good? Because I had to go really far in math for chemistry, and I was like, you saved me. Am I getting too sappy on y'all? What's happening? Were we having like a spider stream? Butts. You couldn't pay me to go back to school though. I still hated it. It was such a struggle for me because I'm so not a good student. My brain just doesn't work in like a lecture student atmosphere in any way, shape, or form. My brain is like, wow, we're just sitting here listening to one person talk. Let's go do something worth our time. And I'm like, yeah, wait, we have to do this. It's very confusing for my brain. Butts. College was terrible for me, man. I got through it, but it was a struggle, and I had a lot of help from a lot of teachers, just like me sitting outside in lab hours sitting outside of my professor's offices during lab hours or during office hours for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And they would help me regardless. They were always helping me, and they were wonderful. It's the only reason I got through college, really. I would have loved to be a teacher. I wish I would have done it. But I didn't. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't do it. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. That's probably why. I went into chemistry because I was kind of good at it and it was interesting. But that was the only reason why. I didn't have like a passion for chemistry. Oops. I just fucking blew that everywhere. GJ, there is, it's a common symptom of ADHD. I'm not saying you have ADHD. I am not a psychologist by any means. But I do the same when I'm understimulated or so bored. Like, if someone's like, put down your phone and watch this movie, I will go to sleep in 2 seconds. My phone is not keeping my attention. It's keeping me awake because my brain has to feed off like multiple sources of information at one time. Otherwise, I will have epilepsy. Like, very much it's epilepsy. I remember when I was in high school, I used to get in trouble all the time for falling asleep in class. And I would sit after class and just cry with my teacher. I'm like, I swear to God, I get enough sleep. I'm fine. My home life is fine. Like, blah, 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 blah. I just am so fucking bored sitting in a silent classroom writing on paper. That is the prime time for me to pass out. And my teacher would have me like stand up and I would fall over asleep. It was literally, I thought I had narcolepsy for a very short amount of time. Didn't I say narcolepsy? The one where you fall asleep you don't have control over it. That's exactly how I felt. I had no control. I couldn't stop. Like, even if I stood up and went for a walk, I would fall asleep standing. At a certain point, if my brain was so crippled by boredom, it was terrible. Oh, not epilepsy. I'm so sorry. I did not mean fucking epilepsy. I'm so sorry. That is not what I meant. I meant narcolepsy. I am so, so sorry. No. Oh my God, Katie. No. Jesus, Catherine. No, I'm sorry. That's me too, Chris. I'm the same, which is why I'm so good with this, because I can do this and talk to how many people are here. A couple hundred people, 100 people at a time. My ADD is so fed by being a streamer. I've always been this way. I agree with you, Kelraiser. I think social media has definitely warped our brains in some way or another, but my mom has told me stories about when I was a kid. She would try to like read me a book or something, and the only way I could pay attention to her is if she like touched my arm. She says, I never knew what it was, but I had to like hold your hand or like rub your feet while I read to you or something, because I could not focus on one thing. I would either pass out or drift off and do something else. I've been this way since I was born, and it's just the way my brain is wired. And I've said it before, I honestly think if I lived in like Neolithic times or, you know, the times of the cavemen, I would probably be totally fine. I think it's my symptoms are exacerbated by the constant information overload you get from everything nowadays, you know? It's constant stimulation, and I think my brain feeds off of it. It's like a symptom of it or something, I don't know. I got a piece of web that was still in there, that's funny. Web is waterproof, which is really interesting. I don't know if you guys knew that. Webbing is waterproof, so if you have a tarantula that refuses to drink out of their water bowl, you can just sprinkle water on their web. Stimuli, yes. I have a good attention span if I'm doing something that really holds me like this. Crafts, arts and crafts, oh God. Oops. Arts and crafts, drawing, playing video games, and talking to people at the same time. All of that can keep me awake pretty well. I have ADHD, and if all of a sudden too many tasks hit my plate at one time, I blank out. Yep, it's called paralyzed by choices. I get the same. No, I get the same. Paralyzed by choices, for sure. The diving bell spider? Oh my God, is it an underwater spider? Yep, I'm the same. Yeah. Oh, Taylor, get some sleep, honeybean. It's been studied a little bit, seeing where ADHD comes from, and something was suggested that people with ADHD or similar brains had an edge in surviving since their attention was able to bounce around a new stimulus. I mean, I've said it before, Andrew, like, my brain was perfection for the hospital environment. Just being able to I can think about 27 patients at one time, and I can still go to a code and try to save someone's life, and I'm still thinking about the treatment I have to give down the hall in aisle 21 or in room 21, and I'm thinking about the vent changes the doctor ordered 3 hours ago for room so-and-so. Like, I definitely, it was nurtured in a medical environment, because especially as a respiratory therapist, I don't know for nursing because I am not a nurse, bless all of you. I just know for me, it was nurtured by that environment heavily. I could never just sit at a quiet desk. I wouldn't get anything done and go to sleep. It'd be terrible. I'd literally just pass out if I had to sit at a quiet desk. That's why I always have music or something going, or I'm talking to you guys. It keeps my brain up and awake. It's enough stimulation to keep me awake. The author of Percy Jackson series wrote it because his kid was ADHD, and all their kids in the series have ADHD. Oh, my heart. Women are better at multitasking. Do you think so? Oops. I love miniatures. I've always wanted to get into painting miniatures, but I wouldn't have anything to do with them. The cool thing about doing stuff like this, I'm letting it dry, by the way. I glued a bunch of cool moss on the back. I'll show you. It looks really nice. I forgot what I was gonna say. It's gone. See, ADHD. Oh, I only play D&D online. I don't have any IRL friends to play with. ADHD, dude. For real. Wanting to do minis again? Alchemy. Girl, there are some really cool minis out there. I can write upside down and backwards while flipping a phone. Most impressive thing I can do. That's pretty good. I can rub my belly and pat my head at the same time. Oh, you guys can't see it. I'm doing this, but on my head. That's a cool talent, right? COVID. All right, let's cheers. This is probably almost dry. You don't ever want to risk hot glue around your poor fucking spider. Oh my God, can you even no, we're not even gonna talk about it. You guys know better, I don't have to say that, right? Cheers. It is believed that on average, men are more likely better at learning and performing a single task at hand, like cycling or navigating directions, whereas women have superior memory and social cognition skills, making them more equipped for multitasking and creating solutions that work for a group. I wonder why the man and woman part, though. Is it people who identify as a woman and like are raised in a feminine style or that way, or is it like hormones changing the brain function, you know? Like, I'm wondering if it's like, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, are we talking about gender or are we talking about like sex? Because brains are insanely different. Yeah, I don't know anything about brains. I used to work in a neuro unit as a respiratory therapist. So I used to like measure spinal fluid once in a while, but I still can't tell you why. I just did it. Monkey Jesus. What does that mean? Oh no, fiction. I keep my shit very far away from my dogs. Cheers! 30-hour weeks? Dude, I work like 60 hours a week to pay my bills. Cheers. Brain structure, women have much more connected corpus callosum. Really interesting. Even monkeys need Jesus. Monkeys are gross. Monkeys probably are Jesus, let's be real. Primitive hunter-gatherer societies, men would hunt because they were expendable, while women would stay together because they could create children. Women also tended to be better to identify color because of needing to identify edible versus poisonous. Ooh, I mean, that makes sense. I think also genetically, only men can be colorblind. Like, it's like, 0.0001% of women can get colorblind, but mostly it's men get colorblind, so that would make sense. I always wonder about studies like that because, gender to me is a stupid concept. So I wonder if it's, if it's female organ hormones that cause a certain way of thinking, or if it's you grow up a feminine identity. Like, I grew up as identifying as female, I identify as a she female, Connection in their brain, interesting. Physiologically, that's what I was wondering, is it nature versus nurture, I guess? Maybe that's a better way of putting it. My friend told me, I think it's something like the mother carries the colorblind gene, but it tends to affect male children more. Yeah, my teacher in school told me it's impossible for women to be colorblind, but I think nothing's impossible, right? It's hard to say anything's impossible. But I kind of get annoyed when someone fakes wearing glasses. Wait, people fake wearing glasses? Wait, what? Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Myron. Me too. That's what I was basically like, I just wanted to identify between the two. I got a lot of transgender friends, y'all. And so I think things like that are really important to talk about because gender is stupid, in my opinion. Obviously, you have genitals and hormones of whatever the fuck you were cursed with, but...
Did you take your joy today? Never forget to take your joy.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you'll be able to go as smooth as velvet.
Yeah. I'll hold that there and glue that before I stick the other one on. It's recessive on the X chromosome, so a man won't have the other X to cover for it. Oh. Ooh, mostly lurking. Don't ever apologize. You know I love my lurkers. But your brain is physiologically different between the sexes due to exposure. It gets sex hormones when you're a fetus. Yeah, it is fascinating. I wish I would have worked in the neuro unit more. I think stuff like that. The human brain is fucking crazy fascinating. I think we all can agree on that. Human brains. I mean, if you think about it, my brain is talking about itself right now. Your brain is the only organ that named itself. Fuck that one around in your head for a while. I'm just wrapping a cute little vine around it and tucking it in. Just for looks. It won't give a fuck. This is all for me. Because I love my tarantulas. Holy shit, we do need to do another break. It's last break of the day, y'all. That's cool, because we're almost done. Uh-oh. Stick to the bark, bitch. And then I'm gonna stick some bark on that so there's no exposed glue. Because I don't want my tarantula getting stuck in glue. 8 minutes till 4:20? Oh shit. You think I can make it by? Aw, Brad, it's always good to see you. Today is flying by, though, yeah. It's crazy. Lurkers are workers. Word. I love my lurkers. And if I ever say anything, like, you know, I do have a medical degree, so I have a certain level of knowledge, but humans are fallible. Everyone is fallible, and I do not believe I'm perfect. Anybody out there who's a specialist or knows more than me, please never feel like you can't correct me. I'm cool with it. The only thing I'm not cool with is anti-vaxxer bullshit. I don't want none of that in my stream. Other than that, I don't ever want to spread false knowledge, and I don't let people in my stream spread false knowledge, you know? I accept constructive criticism. I am but a learning child of the world. Is pet bug easier to take care of than snakes? Yes. My cousin's wife's left eye has been paralyzed for weeks. They sent her for several MRIs, lesions all over. Oh, God. Oh, man. I hope everything goes well for her. What up, Blue Dabbity? How are you? Right, Glenny? Like, I know a certain amount of stuff, but a lot of what I learned about, like, brains and things that aren't my specialty, I learned from working in those departments and just listening to doctors talk all day. And if I ever say something wrong, like, don't ever apologize. I don't want to spread false shit, and I'm sure you guys don't want that either. We ain't about that here, that's why I'm against anti-vaxxers. Alright, we're gonna glue this one on to cover that glue. We're gonna glue... Oh, the fuck? Oh, it's a hairband. My god. Why did I think a tarantula fell on my head? I wonder. We're gluing to cover up glue, because rubbery surfaces can get stuck on your little tarantula's feetsies. And I personally love my little tarantula's feetsies more than life itself, so... I'm gonna... Oh my god, your guys' farts are horrific. They probably really need to go outside because they smell like shit. People make fun of me for being quiet, but the cause of it is trauma. Why would anybody make fun of you for that? Fuck those people. Anybody who makes you feel bad about the way you are as a human naturally, please don't waste any more human hours on those people. Do me a favor. They are not worth your life hours. Life is so short. Fuck those people. So you don't really pet tarantulas. Like, it kind of scares them because their eyesight's really terrible and their hairs are like tiny little fingers all over their body. It's how they feel vibrations because their eyesight's so bad. So petting them is pretty stressful. Mine just crawl out of my hands when I open their tank to like feed them and rehouse them.